I want to ask you something. When you picture losing your job, the thing that keeps you up at night, the thing that makes your stomach drop when you start doing the math, what is that? For most people I talk to, it's not the mortgage. It's not even the paycheck. It's health insurance. And I get it because we're at an age where we actually use it, where something can go wrong and where even a short gap in coverage can turn into a financial problem that takes years to recover from. If you're facing a layoff right now or seeing the signs and trying to get ahead of it, or even thinking about early retirement, this is something I want you to understand before you need it. Because you probably have more options than you think. Some of them are far more affordable than people expect, including options a lot of people don't even know exist. I'm going to walk you through the real options, what each one actually is, where to go to check your numbers, and a few things I wish someone had told me before I needed to figure this out quickly. Hi, I'm Carrie, and welcome back to Retired by Accident. Grab your coffee and let's get into it. Before we start, I want to explain how this video works. I am not going to give you exact dollar amounts for any of these options. Healthcare costs change constantly. Plans change, premiums change, subsidy rules get updated, and what's available varies by state. If I gave you a number today and you watch this, say 6 months from now, that number could be wrong. And wrong information when you're trying to make these kinds of decisions is worse than having no information at all. So instead, I'm going to show you how each option works, what to watch out for, and where to get your current numbers. Because the biggest mistake people make here is deciding before they check. They assume they won't qualify. They assume it'll be too expensive. They assume COBRA is their only option. And those assumptions can cost you a lot of money. By the time you're in your 50s, healthcare isn't something you can just carry. It's something you rely on. At 40, you might go a few months without coverage and figure the odds are in your favor. At 55 or 58 or 62, those odds have changed. And not necessarily because something is wrong, but because when something does happen, it's more expensive, more complicated, and takes longer to recover from. And we're not at Medicare yet. That doesn't start until 65. So for a lot of us, there's a gap, and sometimes a long one, between when a job ends and when that safety net of Medicare starts. That gap is what we're solving for today. I've been fortunate. My husband is a disabled vet, and so we have coverage through the VA. And I know that's not most people's situation. And I've spent a lot of time researching this and talking to people who've had to navigate it and thinking through what I would do if that coverage wasn't there. So let's go through the options. And before we get into the main options, there's one that I want to bring up right away because people overlook it all the time. If you have a spouse or a partner who is still working, losing your job is considered a qualifying event. That usually means that you can join their employer health plan even if it's outside of the normal enrollment period. And for a lot of people, that's going to end up being one of the simplest and most affordable options available. So don't overlook that one. All right, let's get into option number one, which is COBRA. COBRA allows you to keep your employer health plan for a period of time after you leave your job. It's the same coverage, the same doctors. Nothing changes about the plan itself. What changes is the cost. When you were employed, your employer covered a significant portion of your premium. With COBRA, you pay the full amount yourself, often plus a small administrative fee. And for a lot of people, that number is a real shock. So even before a layoff happens, call your HR department and ask what your COBRA premium would be. Get that number and write it down. Now, COBRA is usually expensive, but it isn't always the wrong choice. If you're in the middle of treatment or you need to keep specific doctors, that continuity of care might matter to you. But it should be a decision and not a default. And there's one thing that people often don't realize. COBRA can be used strategically. You don't always have to elect it immediately. In some cases, you have a window where you can choose it retroactively if something major happens. That flexibility can be really valuable, but only if you understand how it works ahead of time. Okay, next up is option 2, the ACA Marketplace, also known as Obamacare. You can find it at Healthcare.gov. This is where a lot of people find more affordable options after a layoff. And the reason this is often more affordable comes down to income. The marketplace pricing is based on your projected annual income. So when your income drops after a layoff, the subsidies available to you can increase significantly. If you lose your job mid-year, your total annual income might look very different than what you were earning before, and that can directly affect what subsidies you qualify for. So when you run your numbers, don't use last year's income, use what you realistically expect to bring in for the rest of the year. That's the number that matters. Also, losing your job is a qualifying event for signing up. That means you don't have to wait for an annual open enrollment period. You'll have a window to sign up after your job loss. And one more thing to keep in mind here, if you end up choosing a high deductible plan and you also have a health savings account, that money can be used tax-free for your medical expenses. A lot of people forget that they have that as a resource, but in a gap like this period it can make a real difference. Now let's talk about option 3, Medicaid. This is the option that people tend to rule out the fastest and often incorrectly. Medicaid is based on income, and in many states, the thresholds are higher than people expect. After a layoff, especially if your income drops significantly, you may qualify, even if only temporarily. You know, my husband worked in a welfare office earlier in his life, and he saw people who needed help never apply. Not because they didn't qualify, but because they assumed they wouldn't, and they were often wrong. So don't make that decision yourself. Apply. Let the system tell you yes or no. That's what it's there for. Start at Medicaid.gov. This website will help you find where to apply in your specific state. Option number 4 is Healthshare Plans. This is the option that many people have never heard of, so I'm going to spend a little extra time explaining here. A Healthshare plan is not insurance. It's a membership-based cost-sharing arrangement. You pay a monthly amount, and those funds are used to help cover other members' medical expenses when they need it. And the monthly cost is typically much lower than COBRA or ACA plans. The most well-known of these are faith-based, like Medicare, but there are secular options as well. Now, here's what you need to understand about all of these before you consider them. They are not regulated the same way insurance is. So consumer protections that apply to insurance plans don't necessarily apply here. If a claim is denied, your options are different than they would be with regulated insurance. Pre-existing conditions are handled differently than in traditional insurance. There are often waiting periods before pre-existing conditions are covered, and some pre-existing conditions may never be covered at all, and some conditions might exclude you from joining entirely. For example, I have a brain aneurysm that I was likely born with. My neurosurgeon says it's extremely unlikely that it will ever cause an issue, but it's considered a pre-existing condition, and 2 plans that I applied to denied me entirely because of it. Ironically, if it had been found after I joined, it would have been covered. Additionally, some of the plans, particularly the faith-based ones, do not cover some medical situations tied to lifestyle choices that the community considers contrary to its values. Think things like pregnancy outside of marriage or drug and alcohol rehab programs. So be sure to know exactly what's covered and what's not covered before you sign up. And I want to point out that although I have been rejected for coverage personally, I have multiple family members who currently use Healthshare plans and have had really good experiences. They would and have recommended them. For the right person, these can work really well and at a much more affordable cost compared to COBRA and full price marketplace plans. Just be sure you do your homework. A good place to check out these plans is at HSA4America.com. All right, option number 5 is direct primary care, and I think this deserves some attention too. With direct primary care, instead of going through insurance, you pay a flat monthly fee directly to a doctor who usually doesn't even take insurance. This monthly fee covers all of your primary care needs with no copays or deductibles. Often basic lab work and minor procedures are part of the package as well. In return, you get much easier access, appointments when you need them, more time with your doctor, and often direct communication with your doctor via phone or text. Now, direct primary care does not cover hospitalization, surgeries, specialists, or anything you might need from a different doctor. So it's not a replacement for insurance. It's usually part of a strategy. People will often pair direct primary care with a high deductible plan or with a Healthshare plan. One handles the routine care, the other one handles the big risks. And for a lot of people, that combination works surprisingly well. I personally know 3 people who use direct primary care, and they love it. There are multiple online resources for finding direct primary care practices. One of them you can find at mapper.dpcfrontier.com. Okay, option 6 is short-term health plans. And I'm just going to mention these briefly because you'll encounter them in your research. Short-term health plans are exactly what they sound like. They are temporary coverage, usually available for a period of maybe a month up to a year or so. They're typically cheaper than marketplace plans, and for a reason. They cover less. They can deny coverage for pre-existing conditions. They can cap what they'll pay out. They can exclude certain benefits and generally offer less protection than a regulated plan. For young, healthy people who need a bridge for a month or two, these types of plans make sense. For someone in their late 50s with existing health conditions, those gaps can be kind of risky. I'm not saying to rule these out entirely. Just be sure to read every word of what is and isn't covered before you sign up. Okay, and just one quick thing to mention before we wrap up options. Most of these plans treat dental and vision separately, so you might need a plan for those on the side. Okay, so let me pull this all together. What matters most is that you don't make decisions based on assumptions. Find out what your COBRA would actually cost. Look at marketplace plans using your projected income. Check Medicaid, even if you think you won't qualify, and explore the other options like Healthshare Plans and direct primary care. Then compare based on real numbers and your actual situation. Because the person who takes time to look often finds out that their options are better than they expected. And the person who assumes can end up paying more than they need to. I know the healthcare piece is scary, especially after a layoff, but that doesn't mean it's unsolvable. There are options, none of them are perfect, and all of them require you to actually look. So go look. Look before you need them. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these you hadn't heard of before this video. I'm really curious how many people already knew about direct primary care and Healthshare plans. And if you know of any option that I missed, please share that below too. If you found this useful, hit like and subscribe. We're going to keep having real conversations about what life after layoff actually looks like at this age. Thanks for being here and take care of yourselves out there.